Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Cornell Hunter. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 players who should have won the Heisman Trophy but were overlooked by the voters for various reasons. And to start off, we're going to start in chronological order dating back to the year 1992. And that year, the Miami Hurricanes, as always, had a powerhouse team led by a pretty decent quarterback by the name of Gino Torretta. Meanwhile, on the other side of the country, at San Diego State University, there was a guy by the name of Marshall Faulk. Yeah, that's the guy you know from the Colts and the Rams, putting up all kinds of numbers in the NFL. What did Faulk do at San Diego State in the year 1992? He led the nation in rushing for the second consecutive year, and all he did was score 15 touchdowns while playing a number of games pretty banged up. When the Heisman Trophy votes came around, Faulk finished second behind Gino Torretta. Now, if Faulk had went to a bigger school or played against better competition, so to speak, as all the pundits tend to say, he would have had a better chance. My line of thinking is this: if it was that easy, everybody would do it. If it was that easy, everybody who played against the team San Diego State played against would have put up those numbers. And when he came to the league, instant success. It all transferred. The voters probably look back at that now. Nobody even knows who Gino Torretta is, except for me telling you right now. Marshall Faulk should have won the Heisman Trophy in 1992. Let's fast forward to 2001. In 2001, Eric Crouch, playing for a dominant Nebraska team, running the power option, had a great year, and we all remember that phenomenal run. You can't take that run. It's still one of the best runs I've seen to date. But also, that same year, there was a guy at the University of North Carolina by the name of Julius Peppers. And I know that may sound as a surprise to you, because in the history of the Heisman Trophy, there's only been one defensive player to win, and that was Charles Woodson while playing at the University of Michigan. And he had some glory at punt return, and they used him a bit on offense. But let's talk Julius Peppers. You're talking about a guy who played at 6'6", 285 pounds, real tall, all muscle, playing defensive end. That year in 2001, Julius Peppers led the North Carolina Tar Heels, who are known only for basketball, to a 7-5 record. They beat Florida State that year 41-7. What did Peppers do that year? 15.5 sacks, 3 interceptions from the DN position, keep in mind, and 1 touchdown. If I had a Heisman vote in 2001, Julius Peppers was the most dominant player in the league. He was drafted number 2 overall by the Carolina Panthers, and the rest is history. He currently holds the biggest contract of any player in NFL history. So Julius Peppers is the guy that should have won that Heisman back in 2001. Let's go to 2003. In 2003, you had Jason White win the Heisman Trophy. In 2003, I would have put that Heisman Trophy in the hands of Larry Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, the same plays you see him making now in the league, he was doing that the whole time in college. Here is a guy who set a record, scoring a touchdown, having 1 touchdown reception in at least 18 straight games. That was a time span of over 2 football seasons. During the 2003 season, Fitzgerald had over 80 catches, 1,595 yards, and 22 touchdowns. The Arizona Cardinals drafted him the following year with Coach Dennis Green, who was familiar with him, and the rest is history. To date, Larry Fitzgerald is one of the best wide receivers in the league. We all saw the Super Bowl, and Jason White, no one has heard of him since Oklahoma. In 2004, let's fast forward, 2004, Matt Leinart of the USC Trojans took home the Heisman Trophy. We all know that in that era, Pete Carroll and his squad went on a nice run, had a ton of NFL players on that team. But in 2004, Adrian Peterson showed up on campus at the University of Oklahoma. Here is a guy who maybe was overlooked because he was young at the time. He was a freshman, and that season, Adrian Peterson ran for 1,925 yards and 15 touchdowns as a true freshman. Keep in mind, he didn't even start the first game of the season. Almost 2,000 yards as a freshman, and he didn't even start the season. In that season, I would have handed that trophy to Adrian Peterson. It was handed to Matt Leinart, who was a smart quarterback playing with a bunch of NFL weapons behind him. So you can't really knock Leonard. I still think he'll be a good pro when this time comes in Arizona. But Adrian Peterson, from the time he stepped on campus at Oklahoma until the time he first arrived in Minnesota, has been a dominant player in this league. In 2004, Adrian Peterson deserved that Heisman Trophy. Now, for my last one, I have a bit of a shocker. In 2006, the Heisman Trophy was awarded to Ohio State quarterback Troy Smith. He had a phenomenal year that year. He threw 30 touchdown passes and only 5 intercepts. But once again, Troy Smith was a quarterback on a team that was laden with NFL talent. He played the role that he needed to play. But if you would have went up north to the Northeast and came to New Jersey, you would have found running back Ray Rice from the University of Rutgers. In 2006, Ray Rice ran for 1,794 yards and 20 touchdowns, and he completely changed the history of football at the University of Rutgers. That season, they won 11 games, and the previous season, he led them to their first bowl game. Ray Rice, who now plays for the Baltimore Ravens, in 2006, he was deserving of that Heisman Trophy. Once again, he maybe was overlooked because he went to a school like Rutgers and maybe not a Big Ten school or a SEC type school. And the biggest reason I have problems with the voting in the Heisman Trophy is this. Some of the greatest players in NFL history come from small colleges. Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State. Walter Payton, Jackson State. And right now in the league, you have Rasheed Mathis, Bethune-Cookman. You have DeMarcus Ware from the University of Troy. So here at Football Game Plan, we like to give credit to the people that deserve it. And in those 5 years, with those different Heisman Trophy winners, those are the 5 players that should have won the Heisman Trophy. I want to recognize those players and let them know that you're not overlooked, and some people still hold your side and want to stand by you and hand that trophy if we could relive it again. I'm Cornell Hunter. I want to thank you for visiting footballgameplan.com. Be sure to check back frequently for more feature stories.